everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Courtney Morris and I am a mom of 3 kids, and about 8 months ago my husband and I bought a 5-acre small homestead farm here in the Pacific Northwest, and it needs a lot of TLC. So I'm going to take you on my journey of making this place work. Today we've got a lot of canning to do. I've got a lot of zucchini to make relish out of, I've got a lot of pickling cucumbers I need to make pickles out of, and of course I've got an absolute ton of rhubarb that I'm going to make some strawberry jelly with. So come join me and let's have some fun canning. I didn't really get a great cucumber crop this year, but this is it for right now. So I decided to do fridge pickles because there's not very many, and I love pickles, my son loves pickles, and I think all my kids do. So this is going to be a really easy recipe. You've done this before and I really like them. So I am going to quick make the brine on the stove and I'll be back. I've got my brine on the stove and it is doing its thing. I'm going to cut up some pickles. I wanted to do these kind, but I think it'd be better if I just slice them all up. My recipe calls for garlic cloves, and I just realized I am out of garlic cloves, so I'm going to use minced garlic, which will work about the same way. It's just going to be in smaller pieces, which I actually like better because I feel the oils and the garlic flavor just gets infused better than in a whole clove. Pickling seasoning is going to give it a little bit of a bread and butter kind of taste. I don't need much because I'm doing the garlic, but I'm just going to do a teaspoon of each. Okay, I feel like a lot has happened while I've let my brine cool. You want this room temperature or a little colder because you don't want to cook these pickles. These pickles are a marinated pickle, if you will. I feel like in between that time and doing other things, my kitchen has exploded again. So excuse the mess, but I'm not going to make you watch me clean it. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're just going to take a scoop and just fill up the jars until everything is covered. And in a couple of the jars, I put in pickled jalapenos I had from a jar. Oh, my hair is great right now. I've never tried that before, so I figured I'd get it out and see if it's any good. I am making a mess. Okay, so hi, we're back. It's the next day, and I am going to get on the zucchini relish because I have a lot of zucchinis, and I've still got more zucchinis in the garden, so we're going to shred this up and start making it a relish base ready to get canning. Okay, so I'm going to start shredding these up. I've got a mix of regular green zucchini and yellow zucchini. They taste the exact same, so it's not going to make any bit of difference. So I'm going to shred these up and then I'm going to mix things together. Okay, so I've got everything chopped up, and now I am going to add 2 tablespoons of salt. My eyes are still burning a little bit from that onion. That was so potent. Oh, it smells really good though. It almost smells like salsa, like that pico de gallo with the onion and the peppers in there. But okay, so now my salt's in. I'm gonna let this sit for probably 3 to 4 hours, and then we'll come back to it and start putting it in our jars and getting our brine ready. So I just went out to the garden and gathered all of these. This is not even half of the rhubarb I have, but these are the bigger stalks. And so we're gonna make some strawberry rhubarb jam. This is kind of what you run into with some of the bigger stalks. You see that you can see through that. You get less fruit, if you will, rather than a small stalk. So you can see the difference between the two. Okay, so then it calls for 1.5 quarts of strawberries. So I've got 1 quart right here. I'm gonna move over here because I need another half. I think I'm gonna have enough to double this, but I don't know if I have enough half-pint jars. I do have a lot of pint jars. You cannot find canning stuff up here at all. So I decided to do a hybrid jelly/jam. I'm going to use the juice from the rhubarb, but I'm going to use the crushed up strawberries in the actual jelly itself. I think it gives a lot better texture than just a straight juice jelly. Okay, so right now I've sterilized my jars already in the dishwasher. Now I'm heating them up in my water that I'm getting ready to boil. And we are going to start making the jam. I need to put 3.5 cups of this. And I need to get this to a boil. While I'm waiting for that to boil, then I'm going to add 6 cups of sugar and stir it in with it. We're at a boil now, so we're going to add in all of the liquid pectin. It's pretty syrupy, so you want to make sure that you squeeze it all out. Stir it in really well and get it back up to a boil, and we'll put it on for 1 minute. We almost overflowed it, but we're good. So we remove the heat. We're letting that die down. We're going to skim off the foam. Okay, so now I'm removing my hot glasses, and the reason you want to do this is so you don't put boiling hot liquid into cold jars and have them crack. I have a terrible kitchen for camera angles. Just bear with me here. So I'm going to start filling these up very carefully. Get yourself one of these if you don't have one. We're going to fill it up. That smells so good. Now, because I'm not packing any material in here and filling it with liquid, I don't have to worry about too many air bubbles at all. I will still give it a stir just for good measure. Stir. And I'm gonna wipe off all that got on the rim that would inhibit a seal. Okay, so my water is almost ready to boil. I'm gonna sneak a little bit out of the pan that I simmered everything in, or boiled everything in, just to see if it tastes good. That's good. Okay, so it's been about 6 hours since I set the zucchini mixture aside for the relish, which was longer than I had anticipated having it, but considering it's supposed to go overnight, I'm fine with that. So I rinsed and drained it really well, got all the extra juices and the salt out of it, and now I need to make my brine. So her instructions were to put it in the pot and then dump everything in and then simmer it. Now I'm going to add the rest of my ingredients, which calls for 5 cups of sugar. Now I know that seems like a lot, but you have to remember this is a condiment, not a meal. And if you're eating this as a meal, I mean, you do whatever you want to do, but you use a little bit. It's a sweetener, it's a flavor thing, so you're essentially making a zucchini jelly. That sugar is going to heat up and it's going to bind and make it that sticky consistency that a hot dog relish should have. Okay, so then I need 2 cups of vinegar. I keep cutting my head off, but there's nowhere else for me to put this camera. A spoon of dried mustard, a teaspoon of turmeric. I think I said that word. Turmeric. And then some celery seed. Oh, and then a teaspoon of cornstarch to help thicken things up a little bit. Okay, so I am going to stir this in. Apparently squeezing out all the juices made it into like Mount Zucchini. Then we're going to simmer it for 20 minutes. I don't want to boil this either because of the amount of sugar in it. If you get it to a rolling boil, you're going to make eventually a very sticky, harder jam-like substance, or worse comes to worse, a hard candy, and nobody wants that. So we're going to let it just have a gentle simmer for 20 minutes. This smells absolutely divine. I want to go to a barbecue now. Okay, once I've got these poured, I'm going to use my very technical canning tool. I got a chopstick out. I'm just going to punch down within the relish to make sure that there's no air bubbles. Sometimes when you do this, you'll find that things sink a little and you have more room for a little extra. I thought this was a video, but here's the final results. Aren't they pretty? Good morning. It's now again the next day, early morning, so I'm sat on the couch trying to wake up. So my jam is ready to get the rings off and to be put in the pantry, and so is my relish, and I tried the relish out. I had some leftovers, so I just let it sit in the fridge, and it's beautiful. The consistency is lovely. The flavor is sweet but tangy, and I love it. And I have yet to try my tester jar, the jelly, but I think I'll make an English muffin this morning. Man, it's early. My voice is not here. So anyways, I'm going to end it here because I did film a decent amount of canning. Next week, though, you're going to come along with me to refinish an old hope chest of my grandmother's. Let me show you. Okay, so excuse the mess. We are redoing the floors in our bedroom and all the other bedrooms. So everything's out here. This is my grandma's hope chest from when they got married in 1953, and it is a little worse for wear. It needs some TLC, and I got permission from my family to redo it because we currently use it. So we're gonna make it match my new bedroom. So stick around for next week's episode or vlog. I'm not sure what you call it. But anyways, come hang out with me next week and we'll see what we can do with it to get it looking much better. Thanks for joining me. If you've made it this far, thank you. I really appreciate the support. Like and subscribe, hit the little bell notification, and let's see if we can create a little community on this little corner of the internet. All right, see you later.